The pilot, it appears, was heading from Pompano Beach to Key Largo in some rough weather.
Unfortunately, the two people on board would not make it. Local 10 News reporter Leanne Morejon is live in Dania Beach with the latest. Leanne.
Yeah, and in the time after this plane plunged into the water, an all-out search began. They did find 2 victims in the water who sadly passed away, and then they had to make sure that there was no one else because after all, that plane could seat 4 people. So there was concerns that there may have been more people on board, but shortly after that search did suspend and they realized that there were only 2 people on board and both of them passed away.
An eerie silhouette beneath the water, a small aircraft, a Cessna 172 that crashed down Saturday morning, killing 2 people on board. The white plane still visible on the ocean floor as we look high above from Sky 10.
It was in about 40 feet of water. It was visible from the air. It was also visible from the boats on the surface as well.
Mike Jackals of Broward Sheriff Fire Rescue says the plane took off from Pompano Beach around 8:30 this morning. The pilot can be heard on radio calls from air traffic control saying he was headed to Ocean Reef.
Request permission to continue along the short line under 500 feet.
Air traffic control grants permission but advises the pilot to avoid the bad weather.
You might want to proceed another 3 miles offshore to avoid that precipitation.
The storm just came in heavily from the southwest coming in, and it was so heavy, the rainfall was, there was 0 visibility.
About 4 minutes after that radio exchange, the pilot never answers. Broward Sheriff Fire Rescue got the call for help just before 10 a.m., launching a multi-agency effort. The plane was found around 40 minutes later, and the 2 victims shortly after.
You know, it's a tough day for any agency to come and address the media, obviously, on a fatality, and our hearts go out to the families of these victims.
And so this was a multi-agency effort, as you heard, not only the Coast Guard involved with that search, Broward Sheriff Fire Rescue, Fort Lauderdale, and of course the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. As far as the investigation goes, Broward Sheriff is calling this rather a death investigation. They will focus on that aspect of this crash, and of course the NTSB will focus on exactly what went wrong, what caused this plane to go down. So many questions still left tonight. Reporting off Dania Beach, Leanne Morejon, Local 10 News.
And Leanne, team coverage moves now to Pompano Beach, and Local 10 News reporter Derek Shore, who has been working on the details to get more information on the victims tonight. What have you learned, Derek?
Well, so far officials have not released the names of those victims, but what we do know is that plane took off here from the Pompano Air Park and then would eventually crash just off of Dania Beach. Eventually, that plane would find itself in bad weather, and those 2 people would not survive. Now, based on the tail number, here's what we know about the plane. It was a Cessna 172N. It was registered to Volux Aviation LLC. But the owner says he was not in possession of the airplane at the time. I spoke to him over the phone. I spoke to people here who say they can't believe it.
It's very concerned for everyone involved. You know, aviation is a beautiful thing and we love it, but it's a sad day.
So it is unclear if that plane was being rented out to another company or not. And again, the victims' names have not been given to us. As soon as we get them, we will pass them along. We're live in Pompano Beach. Derek Shore, Local 10 News.